Hello and welcome to Cheshire Audio. Now, good news, I actually have stock of the new Rega cartridge. To be fair, I actually had them before the bank holiday, but I've not had a chance to actually do a video about it yet. I've actually sold a couple of these already, without, people just believing in the product, I suppose. So what I wanted to do today, I haven't listened to one yet, I just haven't had a chance. I mean, it's been so busy since the bank holiday, because I took an extra day. And it's the extra sort of workload of the people have been thinking about stuff over the bank holiday, I think, and then they're all on the phone. So the phone's been going mad and everything, so which is really good actually. It's been because this time of year when it goes warmer, usually it goes quiet, but it seems to be staying actually quite busy. So yeah, ND3. What I'm going to do, I've actually got an Elise, and I've actually got an Exact in a box because I wanted to show you the differences in packaging. There's some very interesting differences that you can see before you even listen to one. There's a lot of good stuff actually. So I'll do a little close up with it if this camera will allow me to do close up, which it's not very good at, but we'll see. Bit of a close up just to go through sort of some of the benefits of the new design really, because quite intriguing. It's quite a good one. Anyway, let's move the camera and have a look. So here you go. This is the ND3 in box. They've gone away from the sort of plastic packaging now, which yeah, probably should have done before, to be honest. But yeah, so that's it's almost like a Perspex-y plastic, very, very thick. Hence it being so small, because it's just about indestructible. But so they've gone to slightly bigger, but nice nice box. Slides open like that. There's your cartridge. A bit like the old packaging. All the kit is underneath, so you pull the cartridge out like this, and you've got the bolted in, and there's a little toolkit at the bottom there, got an Allen key. There's also a little blue blob there, which used to come with the Elise and the Exact as well, because if you've got an earlier tone arm, the hole at the front is too big for the third bolt. So you have a little washer that goes in there, a little spacer that just closes up the gap. I think you can actually use that on P1 as well. I've never tried, to be fair, but the P1's got a bigger hole at the front as well, and I think that would make a P1 so you could actually use that. Don't take that for definite, because I've literally just thought that was been talking. But certainly original RB300s don't have quite the right size hole, so they need a little spacer in. So yeah, I'm not going to take the toolkit out of there. I've got a little Allen key here, just take it off its packaging. So I'll have a talk about the actual cartridge itself. I can do this without dropping it. You'll notice the body is totally threaded. With the original sort of Elises and Exacts and everything else, they were just the front hole was threaded, but you had the nut and bolt on the other two, which made it a little bit more fiddly. I mean, a lot of cartridges have that, but with this we've got 3 threaded holes, which is really good, and it's really good because it makes them so much easier to fit. I've always said this about just use the Allen key, stop trying to do it with your fingers. I've always said this with like Audio-Technica, the VMS, call them VMS, the VM95 range. VMS was an autophone. The VM ranges have got threaded bodies for the nuts, and they're so easy to fit. You basically just hold the cartridge in the position you want it and just tighten down. There's no sort of trying to manipulate nuts and bolts and all that sort of thing. Oh, I'm making it look like it's really, really difficult, but it's just trying to talk and do things and hold everything together all at the same time. It just doesn't really work out for me. Nearly there. And there's a little plastic spacer there. Actually dropped everything there. That little plastic spacer is just to strengthen the back plate, really. So there you go. There's your ND3. Now what you'll notice is it looks very, very similar to an Anya Pro, the moving coil, with a little red body there. Also another, where's it going? Yeah, an Elise. I've got an Elise here. So this is the cartridge it replaces, which is in blue. Now, I was sort of thinking as I go along here, actually, this is just, again, something else that just dawned on me. The red colour, though, I wonder when the ND5 and the ND7 come out, whether the colour will be different on these. There'll have to be some way of distinguishing it, because it doesn't actually particularly, yes it does. It says ND3 on the back, but whether or not you'd expect it to have some sort of identifier. Now, why that's not blue, I don't know, because that kind of would relate to an Elise then, wouldn't it? We'll see. I have no idea what they're going to do in that respect to that. They might all be red. We'll see. The biggie here, actually, is very much like the back of an Autophon, actually, this, or what else? How's it called? Yeah, because colour-coded. Makes it really easy. The old cartridges, a bit like some Audio-Technicas, actually. I think it might even be a shared backplate on some of these. It's like a little embossed or a little raised R and L for left and right and a plus and minus, and you have to sort of get your glasses on to try and work out which is which on there. Literally no colour coding. You have to look at it very closely to see which pin is which. Whereas this, it's really obvious. I like that. That's a really good move. Similarly to the Anniers and the Feeters, they've had this all the time. So it's kind of, again, it's sort of aping the moving coil range, which is really good. You notice that the 3 points here raised up, they're sort of sitting on little pedestals there. So it's very, very minimal contact. This material, I've forgotten what it's called. PPS. I can't remember what the PPS stands for, but it feels a little bit like the phenolic resin that they make the platters out of. It isn't. It's more lightweight than that, I think. But it's supposed to be very dead, very easy to mould into shapes. So that's quite interesting. What I don't like, and I've said this before, I don't like this cover that they use. They've used on the Annier and the Annier Pro, the Feeter. Basically, that is your protection for your stylus. I'll put this to the side one for a minute, because the stylus is actually very, so it sticks out a lot there. It's actually very vulnerable in a way. Now, there is a little bar that sticks out here to protect it, and in most situations it would, to be fair, because if you're sort of moving your hand around above it there, it means it's a visible barrier, so you're more aware of it that being there. Now, the only issue I have with this little cover, you feel like you want something that would clip right over it, but what this does, and if you can see that, you won't be able to do it with this camera, because it's sort of on the actual edge of here, there's a little slit, if you can see it in the rubber, and that fits over this. Now, doing that, when you're sort of an old decrepit old duffer like me with dodgy eyesight, actually trying to get that to fit in, it's not so bad when you've got the cartridge in your hand, but trying to do that when it's fitted to the deck, I find really difficult. Even with good reading glasses, I just find it really difficult to align it. So not so keen on that, but I don't know what other solution they could come up with, to be fair. So yeah, there's a few good things. So we've got the colour coding, we've got threaded body, so much easier to fit. As far as the spec of this goes, elliptical tip. I know some people expect, if you spend £175, you'd expect to have XYZ tip on there, a nude elliptical or a microline or that sort of thing. There's more to it than that. There's an awful lot of technology within the body, within the coils, within the magnets on this. So it is a lower spec tip than you might imagine. I mean, it's not unusual, actually. I've actually seen cartridges at this price with spherical tips, which are really basic. But straight elliptical, yeah, usually around this sort of price, you'd probably expect like a nude elliptical or possibly even microline. But you wouldn't get this kind of technology in the body and the magnet. I mean, the neodymium magnets that they use, generally only used in moving coil. I think it says in the Rega blurb that they don't think any other moving magnets have ever used neodymium. And they're a very, very efficient, well, quite a very strong for size magnet, which makes a big difference. And there's an awful lot of attention gone into the coils on these as well. So you're getting quite a high-tech cartridge. What will happen, I suspect, is that this technology will be carried over into the 5 and the 7, but we'll be getting better tips on there. So that's when you'll start to see microlines or Shibata, whatever they'll use. Actually, Rega will go their own way on that, obviously. But yeah, so really impressed with this. I think I haven't heard it yet, and I will do a sort of a sort of afterwards review when I've listened to it and everything. I suspect that this is going to be a more open sound, really. Just looking at the technology in it and all this sort of thing, I suspect it's going to, you know, do the big imagery thing better than the old range. The old range, people, there was a bit of a love-hate thing with the old range online. You'd find that some people thought they were a bit aggressive, but actually, I think what it is, they're very dynamic and very interesting to listen to. They've got a great musicality to them, but they can sound, the Elise can sound a little bit rough and ready. The Exact didn't, I don't think. I think the Exact brought in refinement. But some people didn't like the fact that this could sound a little bit aggressive. Personally, I prefer this to, you know, things like Autophons and Regas, which the Autophons sound more refined, sound more together, but just don't have the musicality that this has got. They're not as interesting to listen to. Although saying that, I like Autophons in other decks, weirdly. So I think it must just be Autophons not liking that one-piece arm tube, perhaps, I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, like I said, I think this could be quite interesting, but we'll see. I'll report back on that when I've had a good listen to it. What else do I need to say about this? I think that's it, really. Yeah, we talked about the magnets. I don't know what the tracking weight is. What I will do, I'll just switch the camera off for a second. I'll just find out in the blur, because I haven't even looked at this, to be honest, what they're actually putting the tracking weight as. Or is it there? No obvious. Oh, I found it. My eyesight again. Instructions are here. That little line. Typical minimalist Rega. 1.75. Who would have thought 1.75? Pretty much every cartridge made by Rega has been 1.75 recommended tracking. So yeah, good one. So there you go. That's the ND3. Really looking forward to the 5 and the 7. Obviously, the 5 will replace the Exact. The 7 is going to replace the Anya. So that's going to be interesting, because actually, basically, this has got pretty much the same profile as an Anya on it. So yeah, that would be interesting. So yeah, I'll just move the camera. Yeah, so there you go, ND3. £175 at the moment. Like I said, I've had a few go out already. I've still got stocks. If you want one, let me know. But I will do a sort of proper listen to this. It's just having the opportunity at the moment, really. To actually sit and listen to music at the moment in the shop is no chance at all, because I'm packing stuff up, and I've had a few decks in for service that have run on a little bit longer than I wanted them to, so I wanted to catch up on all that. So yeah, there we go. I'll try and have a proper listen to it during the week, and what I might do is I might try again, because it feels like it's going to be quiet next week. It feels like it is. So I'm hoping to listen to that, a review of that, and a review of, it's over there, the Atoll 300 amp, which has been running in a bit. I've heard these a few times. I've had them in the shop a few times. Never done a review on it, but I think now is the time. So hopefully that will be during the week as well. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a subscribe and a like. And I will see you in a future video, possibly 2 videos next week. Okay. Now I've said it, I've got to do it. See you soon.